Hello and welcome to Down to Earth Convos Down Under, episode 2. In this one, we're talking tips for school leavers and high schoolers around how they can create value, make smart moves early on in their professional journeys. Hey Ali, how's it going over on the beautiful Sunshine Coast?
Oh, it's so beautiful over here, Brad. I'm going very well over here. And how about you over there in Perth, Western Australia? How's things over there?
Absolutely perfect here too. It's a great day. Definitely going
Great
well.
day. It looks like a nice day.
So in today's Down to Earth Convo Down Under, we're talking tips to the graduates and school leavers about what they can do to start earning and creating value for themselves and others.
What a great topic. So we're going to be sharing some tips with any parents that are listening today and some Year 12 graduates or kids that are just dropping out of school at any time throughout their journey, their school journey. And even if they're not, because I know that one way to raise self-worth is to raise your net worth, because your net worth and your self-worth is a direct reflection. So why not encourage our kids, our future generation, to get out there and start learning some real life skills on the job and hopefully get paid to do what they're going to be learning, and hopefully it will be around what they love and enjoy or have meaning and purpose in. So that's what we're going to be chatting about today, Brad.
Yeah, or discovering that meaning and purpose too, because a lot of people...
From a young age, you may not know.
Yeah, don't know what they enjoy doing. And it's a process of discovery for sure. And
Absolutely.
There's no good that comes from lounging around like a lizard.
I love that saying. It's a good way to describe what we don't want for our kids. I know that through the last few years where I've been really tuning into our youth in particular, and when they come out of school, there can be a tendency for them to fall into a rut, which is where they do lay around like lizards, so to speak. And if someone's finishing school, I should say, and they have got no purpose or no job, no part-time job to go to, they can fall in a rut, but we need to snap them out of that. We need to introduce new habits, behavior early, which is what we're going to be chatting about today, touching on that.
For sure, because you don't want it to turn into a habit where you're at 25 or later, you've never really had a job or a meaningful job anyway. You're playing games all day or sitting on social media or just not doing anything valuable with your time. That does not do good things for your self-image, your self-concept, and it's very destructive.
It's very destructive, especially these days with the rising level of anxiety, depression amongst our youth. And social media has a lot to answer for, but we're not going to touch on it too much today. But we want to make parents and kids out there aware that if you have a reason to get up in the morning, if you have a purpose and you are earning income or learning lessons, that's a great way to raise self-worth and self-image. And that is a very important topic to talk about for sure, particularly these days and with our youth.
And not only that, it raises your energy, your vibration, and then that creates more opportunities for you. You feel better about your day-to-day life. Its on-flowing effects are enormous.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about living life to the fullest, learning things, learning lessons, earning income.
Yes.
Having meaning and purpose. Yeah.
And I
have
think
a fulfilling day.
One thing that is essential is to try lots of different things, right? Before you settle on a particular path. Unless you really deeply connect with something in particular and you know you want to pursue that. But I would say in general, don't narrow your scope to one or two things that you just think you're interested in because they sound good or they look good on TV. Because if you've not been a part of it and you don't have that experience, then you don't really know. So include those, of course, but include another 10, 15 other things that you don't really know anything about. And you'll learn infinitely more about yourself. You'll be able to leverage lessons in those and use them when you do move forward, wherever you go. And it'll do wonders for your growth. So if someone offers you an opportunity, I think there is a lot of value in saying yes a lot when you're young, because it's really how you grow. What would you say, Ali, as an idea for young people to have and to keep with them when they're moving forward professionally.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one. Expand your horizons, like think outside the radar, because I think that if you narrow that down too much, you will be missing golden opportunities that can come your way. And if you haven't actually got a job right now and there's an opportunity that comes up, which does happen, yes, step up, stand up, step up and step out and just try it. Even if you discover that it's not what you love and enjoy, that's fine. But at least give it a go, because there's always lessons to be learned. There's stepping stones to move on to something better, bigger down the track. I love to share that Warren Buffett, for our young ones, may not know that Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors in our time, and he's full of golden nuggets of wisdom. Warren Buffett had multiple jobs as a teenager, before the age of 16. He even sold golf balls, which was something that my brother did when he was young, when we grew up in a beautiful suburb in Melbourne. So there is no shortage of opportunities, I believe. There are always jobs for those who are looking, for those who are persistent. And even if it's just a work experience, and I know that that businesses will be open. There's a lot of businesses out there that love to give young people opportunities. I know that I'm one of them. My business, ePlants, is definitely one of those businesses. So I'd love to encourage parents and youth to stand up, step up and step out and try new things. So yeah, expand your vision and don't narrow it down too much, because you could be missing out on a golden opportunity. Great point, Brad.
Yes, expand your vision. That is entirely true. And don't narrow it to the jobs in the newspaper or on Seek or wherever you happen to be looking. There's a lot of companies that will hire you that aren't advertising for a position if you can pitch them and position yourself as someone who can create and add value for them.
Great point. Now, I know that resumes are old school. So I've been chatting to you and our colleagues many times about the old school resumes. And now there's something that's come about it's titled Pitch Deck. Can you please share with everyone, our listeners today, tell us about the pitch deck and how it compares to, say, the old-fashioned resume?
Yeah, so the pitch deck model, typically that comes from what a new creator would use to secure venture capital. So they'd create a pitch deck and they'd pitch an investor. So it's a little bit like that. And I think really it starts with defining and working out what is your 30-second spiel that you could give to a professional in an elevator that would make them want to hire you, like an elevator pitch. And I would say don't overcomplicate it. Think about what you're good at, what are your strengths, and why are those valuable to the person that you're speaking with. That's really all you need. It doesn't matter if you aced your exams or flunked out of school, because it means absolutely nothing in the real world. No employer cares what your exam scores were. They just want to know that you have a good attitude, a good mindset, that you can create value for them. And that means, creating more value than what they pay you, essentially. And that you can share ideas, do great work, and that you're reliable. And if you do that, you're golden. And so there's lots of ways you can create these pitch decks. You can just write a really great email and that could be it. You can do a PowerPoint presentation with a few slides about who you are and the value you can create. You can go onto crash.co and create a pitch deck and start sending that to companies and do it that way. And you can showcase your skills on there. You could also build your own website and put who you are and what you do and the value you can create that way. It's dead easy. If your skills are in creating websites, maybe they're not. Maybe it's the PowerPoint model, because everyone's created PowerPoints. Everyone knows roughly how to do it. If you read or watch a video on, a 3 to 5 minute video on good design principles, you make it look good, then you're already a cut above. And so there's endless options. You could start writing on Medium and start engaging on Twitter in discussions in the spheres that you want to get into. Really, there's endless opportunities. Or maybe you don't want a job. Maybe you want to do something yourself. And in that case, I'd recommend You Don't Need a Job, You Need Guts by Ashley Amberger. And she goes into exactly how you can create a job for yourself. But really, I think if you know what you want to do, and not everybody does, but if you have some idea, read 3 books, watch 5 videos, and pick a podcast in that space every week and listen to it so that you're staying up to date. And then you're already ahead of 99% of people if you just do those 3 fairly simple things.
Wow, that is incredible. What a new world that we're living in these days. And what I've picked up, Brad, from sharing that, the pitch deck and the opportunities, like I wouldn't have even thought about a youth of today even producing a website just to show themselves their strengths, what they're good at, that little bit about who they are. It used to be written in the cover letter back in the day, with the resume. And it's in doing that, they're actually displaying some of the skills that they have with their writing and their content writing, or photography, possibly if they're putting photos in there, or designing the website. That is incredible. Like I wouldn't have even realized that.
And
And
it's
there
not
would be
just for,
so many out there that wouldn't.
for sure. And it's not just for the code monkeys anymore. There are a lot of no code tools that you can use to build websites just by dragging, dropping, clicking. It's all very simple if you type the right things into Google that will tell you how to do it. And so another point
Yep.
is that emails are the new cover letters. So you don't need to write a cover letter and put that into a Word document. Your email is the cover letter.
Got it. So, and then I'm guessing a punchline would be the heading so that someone would open your email. I know that that's quite important as well, isn't
Yep,
it?
a great subject line, 1 sentence or maybe 2 introducing who you are, and then get straight to the point. What can you do for them? Why are you contacting them? A great email, a
Exactly.
great cover letter in this sense, it's going to be pretty short. It's going to be 2, maybe 3 paragraphs. Why you're reaching out to them, or who you are, why you're reaching out to them, what you can do for them. That's really all you need to cover. Because if you have it too long-winded, Zach Slayback makes a very good point. You need to assume, and maybe you're not pitching someone who is a super high net worth individual. Maybe it's just the local business owner who isn't in that status and tier. But write this email anyway. Follow this method. Assume that they're about to catch a plane and they're at the airport and they're, you know, doing the things that they need to do. They're walking to their gate and they pull up the email on the phone. Are they going to read lots of paragraphs and scroll through? Are they even going to click it if it has a crappy subject line? No.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet and to the point.
And to the point, because
And
you want them to be able to respond to it too, not just read it. But sure, that sounds great. Let's make a time. Something like that. You want a response.
And that's showing initiative, isn't it? I love it when I'm receiving a lovely email with a nice opening and an introduction, short and sweet. And because not the average person doesn't do that. So to think outside the box and use initiative, you really need to stand out above the rest when you're looking for a job, because it's a competitive world out there. So these are just some ways that you can do that. What an incredible seed that you've planted for our listeners today. Pitching, as if you're pitching. I know that I've listened to pitch to Richard Branson, and I know you've got those split, 3 seconds to grab someone's attention. So to keep that in mind too. So that catchy headline, introducing yourself with a powerful opening, short, sweet. That's excellent. We need to stand out above the rest. Well, let's talk about intention, like setting the intention. I know that when I have approached writers to write forwards in my book, and my daughter who's in the acting space, before I send something off, it's even setting the intention before we do our down-to-earth convo down under with like today. Set the intention that this is going to be received well, and that you have got a purpose behind the email that you're sending, is for someone to discover you and give you a chance, an opportunity.
100%. So with those emails, you don't ask for someone's thoughts. You don't be vague. If you're vague, they're not going to respond, and they're going to be a little bit annoyed. And so if you email again, they might ping, oh, that person. No. So I think not being vague is the very greatest key there. So be specific. Do you want to meet up for coffee? Do you want to jump on a quick call? Do you want to do a small project for them? Are you proposing a small project that you do for free or for a limited budget, and you're bringing that idea to them as a foot in the door, first step? Maybe there's something here, maybe there's not, but let's try this project and see. Be specific.
Be specific. That's great. And that should tip over to other areas of our life as well. Be specifically, ask for what you want. The universe will deliver. So keep it simple, keep it short and sweet, keep it specific.
Yes.
And and ask for the opportunity to meet, coffee or what have you. Now, just let's fast forward a little bit and just imagine that the email was received well, and that was the intention and the purpose behind it. So let's just put a scenario forward that some young guy has got a meeting for coffee at a cafe with the potential employer. How do they dress? What tips have you got for them?
Well, you want to dress appropriately. So if it's a professional job, then you want to dress professionally. If it's casual, you still want to dress well, but you don't want to dress, suit necessarily. So you want to be appropriate for the situation, for the person that you're meeting too. So if they wear a suit, it's probably a bit more likely that you should wear a suit. If they're the founder of a tech startup and they just wear a t-shirt and jeans, probably going to help if you wear a t-shirt and jeans as well. So use your judgment and meet up with the expectation that you'll dress as though you're part of the team, so that you'd fit in with that company's culture. If there's photos of the team online, then you've got a sense of how you should be dressing if you want to be part of that team. Make it easy for that person to visualize you as someone who is part of the team already.
Excellent. That is a great point. And how will they show up? Like, let's talk about punctuality. If they had an appointment, which was like an interview, how do they show up? Like, what time? What gifts have you got?
Early is on time. I think that's one of your catchphrases. Definitely.
Early is on time?
Early, yes.
Early is on time. On time is late. Great. So that just shows, I, as an employer, interviewing many people over the years, hundreds of people, I always notice those that rock up 10, 15 minutes. Is not too rude, but you always be patient because you have arrived early, but it's noticeable. And just to keep in mind that it may not be acknowledged that you've arrived early, but it will be noticed.
Yeah, so it may not even be consciously seen, but it will be subconsciously seen if you're already there, or if you arrive early and they arrive early, they'll notice.
Yes, that's right. So now touching on attitude. So I love the attitude of gratitude that someone's taken, so this potential employer has taken time out of their busy day to invest in an interview. So I think that it's a nice reminder to share that with our youth that are going for jobs these days.
Yeah, because
to go in and it's reflective and it's a vibration. Gratitude is a really great emotion to have.
Absolutely. Jobs aren't a charity. They're not doing you a favor by hiring you. They've built a business and they're taking a risk in a lot of ways by bringing you on. So I think there's definitely the need to be grateful for the fact that they've taken the time to listen and to decide that you are worth listening to, and to give you a chance, to give you the opportunity to sell yourself to them. That's exactly what you're doing, and that's the way to think about it. You are selling yourself to them. And so even when you're having casual conversation with them, perhaps you're not always talking about your skills and what you can bring to the table. Maybe you're talking about who you are a little bit. But if you are genuine and if you are come across as a responsible, respectable person, that all works in your favor.
Yes. And you dressed your best appropriately. You've arrived early, which is on time, with an attitude of gratitude that someone's investing their time. That's all excellent. And linking, so you want to sell yourself like in the pitch, but linking your your strengths or what you're interested in or what you love, we may or may not know, they may not know what that is quite yet, but linking it to how they can help the business. So it's always about that business.
Yes. So be curious, learn about what they are, who they are, what they're doing. Because chances are, from an
Yes,
outside perspective, you don't know a whole lot about how the business functions, how it operates, whether they invest heavily in marketing, sales, operations, and how heavily. So if you ask good questions, you can provide ideas and you can see ways that where you can contribute that you're probably not going to see from an outside perspective. Maybe you've taken a look at their website, maybe you've gone into their physical location, their store if they have one, and so you'll
excellent.
know a little bit, but you won't know the behind the scenes, and there's a lot in business that is behind the scenes. And so the purpose of that interview is to learn a little bit more about that and to inject in a thoughtful and intelligent way ways that you can contribute and help.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up about the website. And on their website, there's valuable things there like a mission statement and a values statement, who the company is, what they're about, their mission, and all those sort of things. The amount of potential employees that have come into my business looking for work, I ask them that one question: have you had a chance to visit our website? The majority say no, they haven't even been on the website. And those that come in multiple times, that revisit the actual business, if it's possible, shows interest and enthusiasm. So sometimes I've actually employed, his name was Henry, he came in 3 times and he had a biology background or he's studying biology. So I thought, you know what, someone that comes into my business 3 times that's got biology on their resume, actually it was, the subjects that I chose, I thought, why not give him a chance? And 2 people I've employed just on that alone, because bio means life. Let's talk about social media presence. I've heard that your social media platform is a public resume. Have you heard this before, Brad?
Yes, definitely. So LinkedIn is one, but it's getting to a point now where you're probably not going to get as many business related opportunities on LinkedIn as you're going to get on Twitter, because that's where the conversations happen. LinkedIn is quite one-sided. It's businesses big noting and promoting themselves and individuals trying to promote themselves. And, there'll be job postings on there, but think about what I was saying. It's not just about going after the job postings. And in a lot of cases, it's actually forget the job postings, because that's where everyone's going. Like in my current job, we've hired a few people this year, and in a couple of days, hundreds of people apply. Hundreds. You're not going to stand out if you're just applying to jobs, I don't think. I think what you really need to do is to go and look at companies that are engaging, exciting, interesting to you to some extent, and join in the conversation a little bit, interact with them. Like you were just saying, if someone's interacting with you heavily on social media, they're going to stand out, just like the guy that comes into ePlants on multiple occasions, just like the people who bother to visit the website and have a look around on there and find out who you are and what you do. Because it doesn't signal that you really care if you don't look at the website first. It just signals, I want a job, I want money, not I'm someone who is motivated and interested. And an employer they want someone who's motivated and interested, not someone who's there for a paycheck.
That's right. And life rewards action. So whatever step you take in that direction, that you've made an effort, taken energy, time out of your day, gone that little extra step, visiting websites, visiting the actual practice if it's possible, or putting a pitch deck together in a video form to present, like that is definitely ways that you can stand out above the rest. So that's really excellent. And one thing that I was going to just mention about social media is I remember having this this family came in, actually. It was the mum and dad came in, and she was putting forward her 18-year-old son, saying he loves plants, he's looking for a job. Do you know what I did? I actually looked on, back then it was Facebook. This is going back some time. I know the young ones are not really on Facebook these days. It's more like Snapchat. But what I did was, he had a social media platform on Facebook, and in the background, it wasn't him, but in the background on the couch, was one of his mates on the couch doing this. And I thought, oh, you know what? And it planted this seed. I thought I had employed a few millennials and young ones already. And it made me think, you know what? I think I'm all good for the teenagers right now. And I didn't take him on. But
Mm.
what I always love to help others. And I knew that he had an interest in plants, this particular young 18-year-old. So I forward his number to one of my colleagues, an associate in the industry, and who I absolutely love. He's the most passionate guy in the industry. He loves plants and palms in particular. I put this young 18-year-old onto my colleague and friend, Phil, his name was. This was 5 years ago. Do you know that guy, Jay, turned out to be gold? He's still working with my colleague, Phil, and I missed out on a winner because this particular guy was passionate about plants and Phil just raves about him. So look at that for a story, Brad, that when our youth are putting forward things on social media, Instagram is a big one with the youth. Let's just remind those guys that your profile can be seen as a public resume. So let's just be mindful of what you're saying, the words you use, and the pictures. Just putting it out there. That's
Yeah,
all.
save the silly stuff for Snapchats and Instagram stories. But if you want things that are going to last and be there for a longer term, yeah, have a think about what the best image that you want for yourself to be seen is. And you know, there's an element in there of don't judge a book by its cover. See, so just because
Absolutely.
someone has a silly picture doesn't rule them out of being a productive individual either. But at the same time, you want to set yourself up with the best image that you can. And that doesn't mean being prim and proper and wearing suits in all your photos. That just means not giving anyone a reason to question you. Or maybe,
Judge.
maybe your judge, or maybe you use that as a filter. If you think, you know, you wouldn't want to work for someone who is offended or has a second guess because you've got your finger stuck up, then you filter them out and that works for you. So
Yeah,
you can use it both ways.
that's right. And I just thought that was a nice contrast just to let, the youth and parents out there that, it is a judgmental. Unfortunately, we do judge a book by its cover. That's a perfect example, but
Yeah, if that's all you've got
yeah,
to go on.
let's be wise.
Yeah.
Well, you've got anything else you want to add to that? It's with what you've shared today, it's been great. And I think it's good use of examples. What about that positive attitude and belief? The belief that there are jobs out there. I know in Australia, we're coming into our summer period. Things are going well here. Some businesses are closed, not doing any business at all. But that's left this opening for the other side, because we're all about balance, aren't we, Brad? That those businesses that are open are actually over busy and struggling
Mm-hmm.
in some cases. I know that's been the case for my business here in Australia. And what we competed against, Brad, which is something to be considered, is that a lot of people in Australia, I know from personal experience or anecdotal evidence, that some people chose to leave their workplace to get the free money, which is not good. So in the back of our heads as an employer, we know that there's some that have chosen to take a break, let's say, to take the free money, lie around like a lizard, instead of using this opportunity to help the businesses that really need you right now because they're overly busy. So
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
there's a lot of perverse incentives, and it's very unfortunate that they exist because it does incentivize doing nothing. And so there is an element of it's smart to sit around and do nothing and get money because you can do that. But at what cost? What is the long-term opportunity cost of not growing your skills, of not moving forward? So balance up, look at it from that perspective. There are farmers who have hundreds of thousands of crops that are going to waste because no one's there to pick them. And what an opportunity that is. That was my first job, picking limes, avocados, figs. And I loved it. It was a great way to get outdoors. It's a great way to make money. I learned an absolute ton about growing and those particular fruits. And it was just, it did wonders for me physically to be outdoors for 6 to 10 hours a day. Sometimes it would be 38 degrees. I think I had a 38-degree 10-hour day. And that was one of the best days ever because I just pushed through it. And that
And
mindset
learn new
of
skills.
productivity is just lost on people that will lay around like lizards and think that they're, smart because they're gaming the system. But at what cost? There's businesses that are struggling. And it's not
That
just
need
the
you.
farmers too. Like, you can look around your local area. Where are the places that are really busy? They'll stand out. There'll be lines. There'll be crowds.
And when you were just touching on about the fruit picking, wouldn't that be a handy skill to have these days with people wanting to grow their own food in their own backyards and balconies and courtyards?
Absolutely.
Brad, I've really enjoyed our chat today because my big takeaway is how you've awakened me to the new ways of doing things. And we're all about like the future and awakening parents, teachers, schools, kids to a new way of learning. And we just compared the old school way of resumes. They're a dinosaur. And you've introduced the pitch deck and all these new ways of pitching your qualities, your strengths, the things that you love, and connecting them to a business, place of business or a company. It's really, really great. Keep it simple. Be specific, short and sweet, get to the point, show up early, which is on time, dress your best, dressed appropriately for whatever it is that we're doing, where we're going. And what else could you sum up by saying about our chat today?
Thanks, Sally. Yeah, I definitely agree with those. Now, wrapping up, I think the golden nuggets for school leavers and even young people looking for work, maybe you haven't left school, is to try new things, to assess what value you bring to the table, and seriously let that ruminate. Because if you're shrugging your shoulders and shaking your head and you're not trying and you're not taking yourself and your future seriously, I would say don't rob the world of your gifts by pretending that you don't have any. And from there, it's, learn a bit about what you're interested in. Be thoughtful in how you present, like you said, both in your emails and physically with prospective employers. And really exercise good judgment in what you do. And if you don't know what good judgment looks like, go and YouTube it. Think of someone in your life, someone that you know who has what you would consider good judgment, and ask yourself what that person would do in that particular situation.
Great advice. And don't be afraid to try new things, and don't be too proud to take on those sorts of jobs like fruit picking. Maybe if it's not your cup of tea, your number one choice, it'll just be a stepping stone that'll lead you on to something bigger and better down the track that's more aligned with what you love and enjoy. And being young, it is no race. It's no race to the finish line. Just enjoy the journey. Just learn and grow and do the very best you can. But the important thing is, like, have a go. You never know if you don't have a go.
100%. Do your best. Have a go. Well, thanks, Ali. It's been a great
Thank
conversation.
You, Brad. Another great down-to-earth convo, down under. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Ali. Have a good one. See you next time.
Look forward to the next one.
Bye for now.
Bye.